Hi, folks. How you doing? It's me, Greg. Do you like my do-rag? I thought I would start a really cool trend. I live in suburbia, and I've been going to my son's bus stop every morning at really early in the morning, hoping that the other parents might catch on and that we'd all start wearing do-rags. It's not working. I'm the only one. So I want to talk about joke noting. I'm just going to do a little bit of what we did. I'm just going to go into it just so someone talks it through. And, some of these things are matters of opinion. Mine's always right. And I hope that, we can have a little fun talking it through as if we were having the class. Okay, so I'm looking at page 12. I mean, I think almost everyone has sent me their joke noting assignments, or everyone has. And I'm looking at them, and it gets confusing to try to talk about one. I mean, there's like 17 people in this class. It's crazy. So I figured I'd go out on a limb and tell you how I noted it, at least a couple pages, so you get some idea what I thought, and maybe you think I'm wrong about a couple, and that's good. The more you have an opinion about these things, the better, because it shows you give a hoot and you're trying to figure it out. It also shows that you're at home reading scenes, hopefully out loud. That's the best way to do it. I'm a playwright and a screenwriter, and I read everything that I write out loud. I mean, it freaks people out if you live in a tiny apartment and the next door neighbors might think you have friends over at 4 a.m, but it's really the only way to do things. If you want to be able to hear dialogue before you give it to an actor, it's really tough to be a screenwriter who's never heard their stuff out loud, and then you give it to actors at a reading, and they're like, have you ever just read this out loud yourself before handing it to me? So anyways, so that's what I do as a way to kind of experiment with it. And I'll just talk a little bit. I'm on page 12 of Coal Digger, and I'll talk a handful of pages through. You can see if you agree or disagree, or send me comments or emails if you have any thoughts. So here we are, Jay and Gloria's house. As you remember, because you did the assignment, Jay is opening the door for Phil, Claire, Luke, and Alex. Phil is carrying a bottle of wine. Now, part of the joke on this is Jay just wants to watch TV. He doesn't really want to be interrupted, which you may remember they've already set up by this point in the script. Jay says, "Hi, everybody, come on in. Hi, hi, hi. Nice shirt. Somebody got a haircut. Did you grow again?" I think the joke there is right after the word again. You might start laughing earlier. I mean, it really depends on how attentive the viewer is. You might start laughing on hi, hi, nice shirt, because you're catching on to the subtext, which is that he just doesn't really care about them. He just wants to get to TV, to the game. But I think did you grow again, which is kind of a dumb thing to say, shows you how little he's really concentrating on what he's saying to them. And he inadvertently kind of slips up there in his efforts to just be like, yeah, sit down. And I put the check after the word again, after the question mark. And I think most of you did, but some of you put it within the chunk of dialogue, and that could be true, depending on how it's delivered and depending on whether there's any space when he does those lines for the viewer to laugh. Okay, but the less astute viewer is going to get it probably after "Did you grow again?" That's when it's definitely for sure there. Okay, Claire says, "Let me guess, the game's on." I don't think that's it. It could be a joke line, but some people will probably giggle at that. But I think the audience mostly knows that that's why he's talking that way, so they're not going to laugh there. Jay says, "Just started." You could laugh there, but I don't think it's a joke line. Phil says, "For you, nice to see you, Gloria," handing her the wine. He hugs her. Gloria says 2 times today. Phil says, "Okay." And when he goes in for a second hug, Claire slaps at him. I think right in there between hug and slapping is where the joke is, because I think that when he goes in for the second hug, we know that he misinterpreted what Gloria said. When Gloria said 2 times today, right? Phil's like, "Oh, okay, I'll hug you again," right? It shows us that Phil misunderstood, which is kind of the joke of it. That is the joke, okay? Claire slaps at him. Claire then explains, she means we've seen them 2 times today. Okay? Now, some people might wait till there to laugh, but I think you're going to laugh on the physical beat of him going in for an unnecessary second hug. It just kind of makes the joke click. So I actually put the check right before Claire slaps him, because I think that's when the audience would get it. I could be wrong, and you might be right if you put it a little earlier, a little later. Okay, Joe says, okay. We go to the next page, page 13. Food's in there, drinks are in there. I'll be in here. He starts to cross off. I think that the joke there really snaps when he makes his move, because again, it's like the rim shot in old style comedy. Sometimes on Modern Family, they use a physical moment, a physical gesture to punctuate and accentuate the joke that's already happened verbally in case the audience didn't get it. So he says, food's in there, drinks are there, I'll be in here. And it's his movement, which I think gives you the joke, really puts the exclamation point on it so that everyone gets it. So I put mine after he starts to cross off. You might have put your check on I'll be in there, right? I'll be in here. You might have done that. That's fine. Okay, so then we have Phil's little monologue. Hold on, Jay. Let's address the elephant in the room. Some people might laugh on the term elephant in the room when you use a highfalutin term for something that might be more important, that you could use for a lot of things, but we know it applies to this. People might laugh on elephant in the room. I don't know. It depends on the viewer. Luke, Manny, in light of what happened at school, if there are any feelings you'd like to express, I think this would be the appropriate forum. Jay says, oh, for God's sakes, both of you. He throws an arm around each of them. Now, here's kind of interesting process here. Jay says, do family members kick and punch each other, or do they love each other? Luke and Manny both say love each other. Jay says, good talk. I'll be in the den. Okay. And then he gives them each a pretty good chop on the head and crosses to the den. Now, where do we laugh? Firstly, there could be more than one laugh in Jay's whole bit there, right? Because Jay's in charge there. Okay, I think the main laugh is after I'll be in the den. And some more people are probably going to laugh again as he crosses on the physical gesture. Okay, so I put a check after I'll be in the den, but I also put a check after the den in the description. He crosses on the den and crosses to the den, and I put or in there. Okay, because I think it's going to be different for each viewer. And it's possible very possible they'll collect two good, strong guffaws, two good, strong laughs on that. But it's important for you to look at that and see where you think the laugh is. And most of you put it on I'll be in the den, and some of you put it in the description. Okay, again, they can be using the visual to kind of snap the joke that was made verbally. I just want you to become aware of it. I mean, it's pretty much the same joke, the same attempt at a joke all the way from oh, for God's sake. It's all Jay's initiative there, Jay in charge, and where you want to laugh depends on how he plays it and how quickly we get what he's doing, okay? Different audience members will get it at different times, and where the camera cuts will help, but don't worry too much about that. Okay, so because we're writing, we're not editing this show right now. So as you go down that page, Alex and Jay, and Alex says, I just read. Okay, so here we have a comic misunderstanding. Alex says who's playing. Jay says Notre Dame and Missouri State. Alex, okay, they're playing on her stereotype. Comedy's all about stereotypes. Okay, and hers is the smart nerdy girl with the glasses as opposed to Haley. Okay, who's social, right? And a social butterfly. So Alex says, I just read The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Okay. Now, you can play that as I said, a comic misunderstanding, like she heard Notre Dame and Hunchback of Notre Dame, right? Or you can play it, and I forget what it looked like on screen, kind of doesn't matter now. Or you can play it as she's just doing anything she can to connect because she's bored. Notre Dame, hey, I just read The Hunchback of Notre Dame. There's a lot of ways that the actress could play it. She may well have tried it both ways, and they may well have taken the one that they thought worked the best. She says it was pretty good. It was about this poor guy. Jay says, shh, don't ruin it for me. Alex says, you're going to read it? Again, does she really think he's going to read it? Very, very subtle how she wants to play it. A good comic actress can do that a couple of ways. A good comic actress can say, oh, really, you're going to read it? Like she doesn't believe he's going to read it. She's just trying to make the point that he's kind of a lunk. Or she can say, oh, really? You're going to read it? Like she hopes he will. Okay. And Jay says, I meant the game on top of page 14. There's a couple of ways she can take it. Any of them could respond in a laugher or not. Okay. To be honest, I'm not sure if I was writing this, and I'm not as good a writer as the guys who wrote it, that I wouldn't have cut it if it's not believable that she would say that. So you see the game we're playing, which is, you're writing stuff that actors will say because you want them to bumble into funny misunderstandings, but it's got to be believable because she's pretty smart. Is she going to say that really thinking that he was referring to Notre Dame in Paris? Or is she going to say that which might make her look dumb, and we know she's not dumb, or is she going to say that to make a point, to kind of zing him? You can be the judge. You can go back and look at how they shot it and how they edited it and put it on TV. But there's opportunity there for both. But the writer's reaching for a joke there, and that's fine. That's what you should do, okay, is go for the joke and give the actor the ammunition. Okay, on page 14, just continuing, they glance around. Claire opens the front door to find Haley standing there on the cell phone. As she enters and crosses through, we have Haley saying, she's on the phone, I'm at my grandfather's house. Don't know why. I don't know why. It's a nightmare. I thought that was a joke. I don't know why. You could also laugh when it's a nightmare. You could put the check on either one of them. Okay. Some of you called it a joke. Some of you didn't, but that's my opinion. Okay. I don't think that that the next lines from Gloria, Claire, and Gloria are going to get a joke, are going to get a laugh. We go to Phil's interview. I felt like there's jokes in there just right after "Just Call Me Dr. Phil." I thought you could put a check on, or you could put a check after "I'm like Dr. Phil but with great hair." Okay, there's a joke or two in there, and you can put the check pretty much where you want because they're all potential joke lines. Okay, I didn't think that scene 19B at the bottom of 14. Where should I put this? And right there is fine. I didn't think that there was a joke in there, so I didn't put I put a lot of checks on page 15. I put a check after "What is Phil doing?" Why Phil? No. What is Phil doing? Talking about himself in the third person. It was funny. So I put a check after "doing." I put a check after when Phil said, "Okay, I'm just going to say it. There's some tension between you two." Bam. You could have put a check after "bam." I said it. It's out there. I can't take it back. I definitely put a check after "I can't take it back," after the word "back." And then at the bottom of that scene, not the bottom of the page, when Phil says "face," everybody put a check. Everyone got that. It's funny. He's treating it like he's trying to get them to fight because he wants to be their therapist. Oh, you faced. Phil's in his moment. He's doing what his character wants to do, but it's very inappropriate and it doesn't make anyone feel any better. That's pretty much the definition, one of the definitions of farce. I'll take a beat out now and give you one definition of farce that I like to use. I think it's in my book, which is a character doing what is in their nature to do, but is inappropriate for the situation. It's kind of inappropriate for him to shout "face" in a high-pitched voice there. It makes Claire and Gloria feel uncomfortable, but Phil's totally in his groove, following his own muse as Dr. Phil, and that's farce moment. That's a farce moment right there. Okay? I'll tell you that on page 15, I put a check after "reading required." I put a check on the physical stuff. I put a check after "cover her mouth" towards the bottom of 15. On 16, I put a check after "knew that term." But you could also put it after the words "the Bears," because there's a joke there on the term "the Bears." Okay, again, comic misunderstanding. You can find humor in that. Same thing and you go down to the middle of 16, just below the middle, have a hearty laugh over that. I put a joke after that, but you could also put a check after "could you imagine?" Because they're bonding on the game, and poor Mitch is edged out of it. Somewhere in there's a joke. And that where it actually snaps in the show might be where they cut back to Cam, cut back to the other character, feeling left out. So anyways, I'll stop here as I'm going past the prepared material. Text me, email. Don't text me. You don't know my phone number. Email me with any comments you think I'm wrong. Tell me where you think there's a joke. That's all totally useful. I'm going to go back and look at your joke noting again. I may have some individual remarks. I hope you're enjoying this class. Email me with any thoughts. Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye.